Hello everyone, Lance here, also known as Victor in the real life, and today we're gonna talk about a new commander that just has been spoiled. That's Bilbo, Fifth in the Night. The idea of this commander is, let me read what it does. It's a legendary creature, a halfling rogue. Spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand costs one less to cast. Whenever Bilbo attacks, you may cast an artifact instant sorcery spell from your graveyard. If an instant or sorcery spell cast this way would be put in your graveyard, exile it instead. So what this means is that this commander is very cracked. Like, it's very good. It's probably gonna be the single most powerful blue commander there is, for sure. And here is my thought process why I think that. So anywhere other than your hand, this includes the graveyard, this includes the exile, and this includes, I think, a little place that no one usually thinks about, but the top of your deck. If you have Bilbo and some Mystic Forge, you can loop, for instance, Sensei's Diving Top, just like you would with a command Urza. This list here is an Urza, a Lord High Artificer list from my friends. This is the best performing list I've ever saw from Urza. And you can see here, there's a lot of things that Urza does that Bilbo does better. One thing is that Bilbo is cheaper at just 2 mana. It's like very easy to cast it. You can cast it on turn 1 very consistent, while Urza is 4 mana. So this is like a huge difference and huge advantage for Bilbo. If you see on this list, there are a couple of artifacts. So as you can see here on this list, there are some things that help you produce mana once you can cast stuff from the top of your deck. On Urza, you can use Battered Golem to tap it in response to an artifact entering, which is not available on Bilbo, except you can run Urza in Bilbo. I'm not sure that's a good strategy. But let's see the cards that Urza now displays that Bilbo could play if he wanted. So he could play Hullbreak Horror and do like polymorph strategy. This would mean that Bilbo would be like a one card combo with polymorph because you only have Hullbreaker Horror or Tidesprout Tyrant, and since Bilbo reduces the mana cost of spells you cast other than your hand, you are going to be running a lot of bubbles and positive mana rocks. And if you have any of those positive mana rocks, then you have infinite mana with either Hullbreak Horror or Tidesprout Tyrant. However, I do not think this is the best strategy to go for this specific deck because unlike Urza, Bilbo is not an infinite mana outlet on the command zone. So what this means is that if you do like infinite mana, you have nothing to do with it. So what I think we should be building here is like a very good commander that thinks about resolving a risk study, copying a risk study, and then using the advantage that it's very small and very easy to cast to be more controlling and have access to cards like Flare of Denial and Fierce Guardianship. You can even use some of those old counter spells that, let me see if I can find it here. Is something counter, of course, counter, target, also sacrifice. So it's a blue counter spell that you have to sacrifice a non-token blue permanent. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, first one, Abjure. So as additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a blue permanent, counter target spell. So this would be like a 1 mana counter that you could also play in Bilbo. And this is like just because he's small, these are all the cards you get to play. So I went ahead here and I built a mock deck so we can discuss ideas. Probably this won't be the best list, but I think it's a nice start. For creatures, we have the main ones. There is one that are different, Archmage Emeritus. Not sure if that's good enough for being the deck, but the main creatures I'd like to showcase are Emery, Hullbreak Horror, Thassa's Oracle, Snapcaster Mage, and Miriam Spy. And of course, Urza, but we're already talking about that. With Emery, if you have any artifact piece on the graveyard that you can recast and use it to draw a card, the example that I got here is Chromatic Star. So imagine you have Bilbo in play and Chromatic Star, it will cost 0. So what you can do is you can tap Emery, cast the Chromatic Star for 0. This will trigger Mirror Spy that will untap Emery. We can then spend 1 mana to crack the Chromatic Star, but this is going to give us that mana back. And we're going to draw a card, and the Chromatic Star is going to go to the graveyard. And now, since Emery is untapped, we can repeat this process and draw in our whole library. Then, with our whole library in hands, we just cast some of the fast mana we have here, probably Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond, Mox Opal, Lotus Petal. Any of those, just one of them can't be on the battlefield and needs to be on the deck, because you're gonna get a blue mana from here, and you just need to find a blue mana from one of those other cards. You're going to have blue, and then you just cast Tassa's Oracle. So this is one of the combo lines that's possible with this deck. Of course, this is not a good combo line because it requires 4 pieces and very easy to disrupt. Of course, if you have other cost reducers, your commander might be not a necessary piece. However, since this is the thing that Bilbo is doing that's good, I don't think you should run other effects like this that are worse, since this one is always available, right? Always available. I'm selecting to add Tezzeret here as a Planeswalker. He's just so good. The mono blue archetype relies a lot on artifact, and I think having Tezzeret is very strong. This is the base of the Urza deck that was talking, but I changed some of the cards, so maybe don't run a Musner prototype because it doesn't sacrifice itself, so it's not looping. Maybe don't need to run any stacks pieces like Gravedigger's Cage, but I left them here so we can have some slots, some flexi slots that we can change later if you find out more combo pieces. For instance, Manifold Key is very good with Monolith and with Mana Vault, so even though we're not an artifact deck per se, I think it's a good practice to have this mana base. Same with the One Ring. So Manifold Key and the One Ring is a combo, and since you're running lanes like Urza Saga, it's another combo that you have on the deck. Let me show you another combo that I had in mind. So if you have Mystic Forge and Sei's Diving Top and our commander in play, Sei's Diving in Top will be 0, so we can cast it, draw a card, place it on top of the library, draw a card again, and we do that until we draw everything and play Tassa's Oracle. That's how we win the game. So these are the both ways of using this first ability that I figure it to be good for this deck to have. Other stuff that I think might be good in this deck are effects like Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage is probably the best one of those for now. I'm just playing this one. I've considered playing stuff like Future Sight instead of Mystic Forge, but Future Sight's like 3 blue mana, so very difficult to cast, unlike 4 colorless mana. I believe having just Mystic Forge is enough for this loop. You can go deeper if you like it. Okay, so I think this explains all the creatures. Clever Impersonator is to play the control game. You can have like Risk Study in play, and you can use it to copy with Mirror Maid, with copy Enchantment, not copy artifacts for the One Ring and other cards like that, and still Enchantment. The idea here that you can farm other players for their resources with all the risk studies you're going to have in play, and run all the free interaction that you can. So Commandeer, Disrupting Show, First Guardianship, Flare of Denial, Force of Negation, Force of Will, Mind Break Trap, Snapback. I believe those are the main ones that you should run. I'm running Wheel of Invention to fight combo pieces like Sensei's Diving Top, Mystic Forge, or the One Ring if you need card advantage and don't have mana. You can run other stuff in the place like reshape, transmute artifact, but this one I'm already running. And this is like the main two lines that the deck has. It has like a combo win that's not very difficult. Actually, it has more combo wins because it has like the Hullbreaker Horror lines with Soul Ring and Mox Opal. So Hullbreaker Horror, Soul Ring, and Mox Opal is infinite mana, and with this infinite mana, you can probably, if you have already other Flux Reservoir, you can shoot the other three players. If you don't have it, you might need a card draw piece like Mystic Forge, as long as it's not so buried so deep in your library that you won't find it, because you can just recast it and play it again and tap it for one life. This, of course, is going to depend how low you are, so this is not guaranteed. You can do the same with One Ring. You can cast it and recast and draw the cards until you find your entire deck. So we have this line to do with infinite mana, but we need a different PC. We're also running Urza as a outlet once you get infinite mana. And I think I'm running Banishing Neck here. Yeah, it's on considering here. We could swap Banishing Neck for Musner Prototype, or there's even a worse one that I saw here. Muddle the Mixture is not a very good counterspell. Our combo pieces are not 2 mana, they are 1 mana and 4 mana. So let me do that. So I can do it. It's not. I'm not logged in. That's fine. But we could swap those, and you're gonna have the combo of the bird. Where's the bird? Yeah, Valley Flute Color. It's not a bird, right? It's an otter wizard, and Banishing Neck to generate infinite mana, and you use one of the infinite outlets that you have. We can use Flash Photography to copy Risk Study. We can use Merchant Scroll to find what you need, and this is like the main lines of the control part of the deck and the combo part of the deck. So we have those combos. We have the control lines that I just said, where you can place a bunch of risk studies and control the table. You have the combo lines where you can have multiple ways of finding combo pieces. Tezzeret also finds the Sensei's Diving Top, so it's justifying to stay here. And finally, we have the grindy line of text of Bilbo that says, whenever Bilbo attacks, you may cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell from your graveyard. If an instant or sorcery spell would cast by this way, exile it instead. So if you are in a grindy game, what you have here is some value pieces that you can keep recasting from your graveyard. So for instance, two cards that are very good here are Intuition and Gifts Ungiven, because instead of getting two cards for gifts or one card for intuition, you are going to get one of the other cards because you just attack with Bilbo and you get the third card or the second card. So any two card combos are findable with gifts and intuition. So this is amazing for us. Even if someone doesn't give us the combo piece, we can find it. We can even run something like Recall. Let me show the card here. This one. So we are guaranteed to get the combo pieces. So this is another line we can use the second line of text on Bilbo. I guess it's the second line. Yeah, sure, it's the second paragraph of text. It's the same. And there's card advantage cards that are on the grindy path of the second paragraph of Bilbo. So like See the Truth, it's an Ancestral Recall on this deck. It's even better because it doesn't trigger Bowmaster. You're gonna look at 3 and put 3 in your hand. It's gonna cost 1 mana because of Bilbo. Born Upon the Wind, you can for 1 mana cycle and have Flash. And just the cantrips, the artifact cantrips, like Mishra's Bubble. Let me see. Yeah. So you can crack Mishra's Bubble, attack with Bilbo, cast Mishra's Bubble again. The same is with Vexing Bubble. You can crack your Vexing Bubble, and on second man, after you attacked, you can cast it again. This is probably not safe in all scenarios, but it's a line. So it's a little bit Luhus of the Dream Dam is on Vintage. You can keep using the attack trigger to generate a card advantage and grind the games if you are behind. So this is how I would build Bilbo. I think this is a good deck. I think it has multiple lines. I think there are also better ways to build it that I'm not aware. So if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments there so we can discuss them in the next video. And this everything that I just said is just playing Bilbo as the commander. Of course, you can play Bilbo in the 99 of other decks. The best deck for it, in my opinion, is like Rao, because Rao casts a lot of things from exile or from the graveyard with a breach line. So I think it's a very good home for Bilbo. Any deck that has a breach combo would be a good deck to add Bilbo to, because it's gonna enable more lines, more breach lines. But I believe the best one would be the Green Goblin one. So Bilbo also adds redundance to the Green Goblin deck, where you can cast stuff from your graveyard and you can cast them cheaper. Yeah, so this Bilbo can be, it's gonna be a CDH staple, I'm sure. Not sold on the 99, but as a standalone deck, I think it's going to be the best blue deck we're going to have on the format. So if you think different, I'd love to know your opinion. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully I catch you in the next one. Bye bye.